morning to you, everyone. Thanks for joining us on After GMS. It is 7:45 on Friday morning. So excited to have you here and interacting with us. We have a lot of friends on our Facebook live stream right now, Megan and Taran. And funny, Michelle says, I'm back. We love when Michelle comments on our conversation. So make sure you are commenting coming up. We have a few good ones to get to. All right, Taran Kirksey working from home. I know you're loving it, and I'm loving this forecast.
The weather is absolutely gorgeous today. That is for sure. Out there right now, temperatures starting out in the 30s, but we'll warm up into the low to possibly even mid 70s this afternoon. A little bit breezy from time to time, but all in all, it's not going to be too bad of a day. And then as we go through the night tonight, the clouds will start to thicken up. We'll see a few showers tonight, a few showers tomorrow morning, and then we will dry out after that for Saturday afternoon. Sunday morning starts off dry, and then as we go from Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, overnight Sunday into Monday, that's when we'll see a better chance of more widespread rain. Going to track a pretty powerful storm system that will track across the southeast during that Sunday into Monday time frame. Right now, the trends over the last 24 hours have been to kind of push that low pressure a little bit more to the south, which would keep the thunderstorm threat to our south as well. So for us right now, it looks like just regular old rain, not really seeing a severe threat for us anymore. So that's good news. But of course, if anything changes, we will let you know. And then after that, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, looking good. Lots of sunshine and highs back in the 70s. That's a quick look at your 7-day forecast.
Let's get you updated on your headlines. And first, we start with the latest on coronavirus here in North Carolina and beyond. President Donald Trump says state governors are in charge about reopening their states, but his task force did share a plan for the country. The new guidelines are intended to ease states into reopening, and that's divided into 3 phases. Phase 1 maintains strict ground rules, while phases 2 and 3 soften those restrictions. If states have a risk of rebounding case numbers, they cannot move on to the next phase. Guilford County's stay-at-home order expired at midnight, but this doesn't mean you can do whatever you want to do this weekend. The state is still under a statewide stay-at-home order through April 29th, and the rules for that are essentially the same, keeping social distancing in place and non-essential businesses closed and prohibiting large gatherings.
Well, the city of Lexington is also ready to let their restrictions expire. City officials said they will not extend their stay-at-home orders. Lexington has harsher restrictions than Guilford County, including a 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. curfew that will end tomorrow. But again, the entire state is under stay-at-home orders through April 29th. Small businesses are taking another hit after finding out the $349 billion federal program for low-interest loans is out of money.
Don't know how I'm going to pay my bills, not only for my business, but also my personal, because they go hand in hand. And every bill that I owe for my personal are the same bills that I owe for my business.
Well, Jenner Graff is a triad business owner in desperate need of one of those loans. Lawmakers are trying to get more money added to the Paycheck Protection Program, which helps businesses pay their employees. All right, guys, it is time for everyone to get involved in our conversations this morning. We're talking about parts of the country starting to reopen, especially the beach communities. Places including California and Florida will reopen some beaches with limited hours and social distancing guidelines in place. Here in North Carolina, Crystal Coast beaches will reopen this weekend, but only to residents. Public access remains closed. So we asked you about this. Is it too early for beaches to be open, and will people follow the social distancing rules? Pam Smith says yes and no. Yes, too early to open beaches. No, people will not follow the rules, but time will tell. Deb writes in, she says, I think it's too early, and some people will get so excited by being out and forget all about the rules. Ramona Miller adds, let's just wait and see if it's too early or not. Well, I'm certainly going to wait and see how this happens, because I'm terrified of a rebound in cases, and I want to make sure that we level out before I get out there personally and do anything. But I do know that the economy needs to restart somehow, some way, and tourism is a big thing, especially for Florida, California, and even our local beaches. So, Megan, where do you weigh in on this issue?
Well, I think North Carolina beaches are doing the right thing in restricting access to residents only. But as I mentioned on the Good Morning Show, I think this is going to be hard to enforce. How are you going to prove that the people on the beaches are necessarily from that area? And there is this communal excitement as far as let's get out, let's head to the beaches. We're heading into the beautiful spring weather season here in North Carolina. Spring and summer, the best time, in my opinion, in this state. And it's going to be hard to keep the crowds away if we don't take precautions.
All right, Taran, you had a very interesting comment about personal responsibility earlier this morning on the Good Morning Show. Why don't you reiterate that for our Facebook fans, because I thought that was good to mention.
Yeah, first and foremost, the politicians need to make sure that they are taking the cues from the people who actually know what they're talking about, which are the infectious disease experts, the virologists, the people that study viruses, and then from that point, maybe we can start, well, if we do start opening up things sooner rather than later, people need to make sure that they are still following those social distancing guidelines. Even now at the essential businesses, you do see that people are not giving each other enough space in some instances. And it just seems like it's really hard for people to stay away from one another. It just seems like that's just human nature. People want to congregate and be close to one another and all that. So if we do start opening beaches and things like that, make sure you're staying apart until we get to the other side of this, because what we don't want to happen, and we've seen this in other pandemics, is you have the first wave and then things start getting back to normal, and then people aren't, kind of exercising some caution. And then next thing you know, you have that second wave that in some cases can be worse than the first wave. So it is a personal responsibility thing. And obviously we want things to open up sooner rather than later. But as we've been talking about, it looks like if that does happen, if we're taking the cues from our leadership, both on a state and national level, this is going to go in phases. And so when that first phase does happen, where they start allowing things to begin to get to some sense of normalcy, we'll still have to make sure that we are exercising the social distancing rules, and we're still washing our hands, which we should be doing anyway, but exercising those social distancing rules, which seems to be difficult for some people to do right now.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the cases. Let's just take Guilford County, where the numbers are still increasing by the day. And I don't want to call it an outbreak, but at least 3 employees we know at the Harris Teeter Distribution Center are now confirmed to have coronavirus. So the businesses that are open are seeing, not all of them, but some of them are seeing some cases. We know that some grocery store workers have been exposed to coronavirus. So it's still out there. It's not going away. It hasn't gone away yet. So being careful at this point is still so very important. Let's get to some of these comments that you're writing on our Facebook stream, and we so appreciate you guys weighing in here. Carmen says she doesn't think it's a good idea. Rosemary says, I don't think it would be too early. The problem is people following the rules. Abilene says they shouldn't reopen anything until this virus is gone. And Megan Parrish says we should wait for sure. Rosemary actually added my last comment, let's be honest, it's not just going to disappear. So I think we are still I don't know if we're in the middle of this yet. I know, we like to think we are, but we've got some more safety precautions that we have to go through, I think, and it may wind up that we have to take our own personal responsibility and decide for ourselves whether it's too soon for us to go back to these normal activities. Meg, you look like you were going to say something.
Yeah, and Tracy. Yeah. Sheila Smith wrote on our Facebook page, she said she used to wonder why her uncle used to wear gloves and a mask in stores. She said she used to make fun of him, and now she's eating her words because she realizes, how fast germs can spread, and this is a new reality, and nobody's going to look twice if you're wearing a mask or gloves in public now, whether you're in a store, at the beach, wherever. We all have to do our part to stay safe.
Yeah, that's a great comment. I mean, people have been wearing masks, for during flu season and stuff like that, and you're just kind of like, oh, it's not a big deal. But now I feel like, when you go to the grocery store, you see everybody wearing masks and maybe even gloves out there. So it's definitely something that people are adapting to. And I definitely see it everywhere that I go. So thanks so much for taking part in that conversation. We have A lot more to discuss here. We know that there's a lot going on in the news right now, especially as we're tracking this pandemic. A lot of people might say we're talking about it too much, and I understand that point too. But we wanted to just check in and see how you're doing. So I asked you on Facebook, how are you? Susan Brooks says she's doing well. This has been a beautiful week outside, even with our cooler temperatures. For that, I am very grateful. You stay safe, please. Dana says, I am good. Going to work and then home every day. I'll be watching movies all day tomorrow. That's a great idea. Mike Bullins wrote in seeking some comfort. He says, I'm doing great, but could sure use some prayer for a friend of mine who is in need of a miracle. His name is Paul, and his body is not healing after a heart transplant. We'll certainly be putting him up in prayer. Myra says she had several firsts this week. The most challenging was my car being in the shop and me having a rental, but I'm blessed and I'm well. Melissa Gregory says, I'm okay, just want all of this craziness to be done and get back to the, in quotation marks, normal, because none of us know what normal really is anymore. So Taran, how are you doing with all of this?
You know, I'm dealing. It's one of those things where you obviously do have concern for your family, and you have concern for friends, especially friends that whose immune systems are compromised. And, you know, try to make sure that they're doing what they can do to protect themselves. Especially, it's just one of those things where you just have to take it day by day. I'm just one of those people where I just, kind of take things as they come, and I'm thankful for that. But even with that said, I mean, there are some days where I'm just like, a little bit more, I don't want to say down, but you get a little more concerned, and you get this feeling of sadness for the people who may not be in the same position to be able to weather the storm as far as their employment and things like that are concerned. I think back to some of the restaurants that my wife and I frequent all the time, and the servers and the cooks and the chefs that were always so kind and so gracious, and you worry about your local businesses, but all you can do is just take it day by day. And I deal with stressful situations with comedy, so hopefully I'm not making too many jokes. Definitely don't want to make a light of the situation, but that's just kind of my way of coping with a not so good situation.
Yeah, and we all cope differently. And I will say, seeing you smile, Taran, makes me smile. So even if that's how you're coping, that's fine, because it's helping me adjust too. Probably the only animal not affected by this is Milo, who is standing by with Megan Malaris at home. Milo is unaffected by this, but how are you?
Yes, he's doing great. He has just switched positions. In fact, I thought he was going to roll off the couch a minute ago, and I was going to have to catch him on this After GMS program, but he's doing all right. I'm doing okay, thanks. I've been trying to keep somewhat of a routine, if that's even possible, having kids at home, but, we still go on our daily walks. I'm trying not to stress and just take things as they come. And I think adapting to being a new mom has helped me figure out how to adapt to this new reality of this pandemic, knowing that we cannot possibly control everything. Some things are out of our control, and we just have to take them as they come, try to take a deep breath, and be thankful for our blessings in life. I'm so thankful still to have my health, happiness, to be employed. I know there are so many people who do not have those things right now, and I pray for them daily, but I am so blessed to be in this position, and I feel pretty well. Thanks.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to check in because it can be overwhelming, like Taran mentioned. Yes, we have so many things to be thankful for, but when you think of the severity of the situation and what we've all been forced to adapt to in just such a quick amount of time, it's a little overwhelming to think about it. But as a parent, you can't let it stress you out, because then your kids see you stressed out, and then it stresses them out, and then it's like a circle. So you just kind of have to keep pushing forward, and I guess that's just the message in all of this. A lot of people are weighing in and saying that they are feeling overwhelmed too, and that they're just kind of getting through it, but they're appreciative of the blessings. Tamrika says she's drained and she needs a little bit of a break, but hopefully that will come soon. Hey, Taran, before you get to our weather, there was a question on Facebook saying, I heard something about the weather being an impact for the coronavirus. Can you tell us if that's true?
I'm honestly not sure exactly how the temperatures will affect the viruses, to be honest. We just have to kind of wait and see. I know we've seen in the past that, other coronaviruses like the common cold tend to wane in the summertime, but who knows, what's going to happen with this one. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. I think it's a new virus. And so we're all trying to, well, not we all, but the people that know what they're doing, the experts are trying to, assess how the virus handles different environments. And they've been experimenting with the virus now for several months in labs, trying to understand how it works, how it operates, what can affect it as far as temperature, what can affect it as far as different chemical compositions, to see if they can come up with a way to stop this thing. So we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because I read something, in Australia where it's really hot right now, there are very few cases. But then you look at places like New Orleans where it's warmer right now, and they have a surge of cases. So I don't know if there's any correlation, but yeah, there's definitely people looking at it, and I'm not smart enough to do that. All right, let's take a look. Are we doing our forecast now, guys? Yeah. Okay. Forecast.
Yeah. I'm definitely not smart enough to figure out the virus thing either. So we'll let the experts deal with that, and we'll just try to handle it the best we can in the meantime. Temperature wise, if you do need to get a little fresh air, maybe go on a walk and just clear your mind, today is going to be a pretty good day for that. I think we'll see lots of sunshine. It's chilly right now. Temperatures, though, warming up into the 70s for highs this afternoon. And then as we go through tonight, we'll see a few showers. That chance of a few showers will continue into Saturday morning. I think most of Saturday afternoon, if not all of Saturday afternoon, will be completely dry. And I do have some pretty good high optimism that we'll see some sunshine Saturday afternoon as well. Sunday starts off dry, and then we warm up, or then we see our rain chances move back in Sunday afternoon, especially Sunday night into Monday morning. You could see some heavy rain around. The system that's going to bring us the rainfall looks like the core of the instability with that system should stay south of us. I'm expecting more severe weather across the deep south, though, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, into maybe South Carolina. But for us, we should be on the north side of that low, which is the more stable side, which gives us a good chance of rain. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, we clear out, we see sunshine and high temperatures back in the 70s.
All right, well, before we go today, I did a little experimenting about the perks of working in the studio alone, and it turns out that I found one. You can sing and dance as loud as you want to when no one is watching. Something to give you a little joy this morning. Make sure you're sharing your joy with us using that hashtag #JoyToYou. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great weekend and be safe.